At the time of his death in 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was an extremely wealthy man. We're talking private islands in the Caribbean, luxury properties around the world, and nearly $380 million in cash and investments. His estate put the total at about $578 million.
You own an island,
Right. Thank you very much.
two islands, the islands of Dr. Moreau.
Correct.
But here's the big question. How did he make that fortune? Now, one possibility, the less sensational one, is that Epstein's wealth came simply from his career as a financial advisor to billionaires, helping them with investments, estate planning, and taxes. In a 2013 filing, he even described himself as a pioneer in complex investing strategies.
I made my living from old thinking, but the future is for the way women think.
The other theory, the one that has fueled countless rumors, is much darker, that he secretly recorded influential people in compromising situations and used that information for leverage, with his financial businesses acting as a cover. While that version has no confirmed proof, it's been repeated widely by conspiracy theorists. What's clearer, based on court filings, investigative reports, and financial records, is that Epstein's fortune rested heavily on just two billionaire clients and a very generous tax break. His two main patrons were Les Wexner, the longtime head of Victoria's Secret's parent company, and Leon Black, co-founder of private equity giant Apollo Global Management. Between 1999 and 2018, Epstein collected at least $490 million in fees, most of it from these two men. At times, they provided more than 3/4 of his income. Let's start with Wexner. He met Epstein in the 1980s, and by 1991, had given him full power of attorney over his finances, essentially complete control. Over the years, Wexner is believed to have paid him more than $200 million, not to mention giving him access to an enormous Manhattan townhouse and selling him properties linked to Wexner's developments. Their relationship ended in 2007 after Wexner accused Epstein of misappropriating tens of millions of dollars. That loss hit Epstein's business hard. From 2000 to 2006, his main company generated $300 million in fees. Over the next 6 years, less than $5 million. Then came the 2008 financial crisis, and, of course, his conviction in Florida for offenses involving minors.
What was the crime of which you were convicted?
Two counts, one soliciting prostitution and procuring a minor for prostitution.
Enter Leon Black. In 2012, Black began paying Epstein for advice on taxes, estate matters, and even managing his art and yacht. And these weren't small sums. In 2013 alone, Black paid him $50 million. Over the next few years, those payments added up to around $170 million. In fact, at that time, Epstein's income depended almost entirely on Black. Black has said he believed Epstein's advice saved him billions, though there was no formal long-term contract.
You want the world to believe Leon Black gave Epstein $158 million just for tax and estate planning services?
I'm not asking the world to believe anything.
Do you believe that?
Do I believe it? I have no reason to doubt it.
Epstein also made money from other wealthy clients, including introductions that earned him multi-million-dollar finder's fees, but nothing compared to what Wexner and Black provided. Now, here's where the tax piece comes in. In 1996, Epstein became a resident of the U.S. Virgin Islands, which offered huge tax incentives to businesses that invested locally and hired residents. Under this program, he reportedly saved around $300 million in taxes over 2 decades, paying an average effective tax rate of just 4%. Those savings helped him grow his fortune while keeping more of his earnings in his own accounts. The government of the Virgin Islands later claimed those tax benefits were obtained under false pretenses and were used to support his illegal activities. His estate eventually agreed to repay more than $80 million. Black also reached a $62.5 million settlement with the territory in 2023 over his connections to Epstein.
Have you ever been convicted of a crime?
Yes.
Even years after his death, Epstein's estate remains substantial, more than $130 million as of last year, despite selling his properties, paying settlements to victims, and covering other debts. And the investigation into his finances continues.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
Why so defensive, Donald? It almost feels like there's more to the story than he's letting on. Let's rewind a bit. Trump and Epstein weren't just acquaintances, they were buddies. Their friendship goes back decades, with both men living it up between New York and Palm Beach. There are photos, flight records, and yes, parties. A lot of them. They were spotted together at Trump's Mar-a-Lago club and dining in Epstein's lavish Manhattan mansion. In 2002, Trump told New York Magazine, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with." And then added, "Brace yourself." It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. Yikes. There's also that 1992 NBC clip from Mar-a-Lago, where Trump and Epstein are seen pointing at women on the dance floor like they're picking items off a menu. That same year, Trump reportedly hosted a calendar girl competition at the resort. According to George Haraney, who helped organize it, 28 girls flew in for the event, only to find out that the only guests were Trump and Epstein.
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like
everything
a doctor.
is good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress is.
But somewhere along the way, the bromance soured. By 2004, Trump and Epstein were reportedly rivals, both trying to snatch up prime Palm Beach real estate. No one knows exactly what happened, but the vibe clearly changed. By 2019, after Epstein's arrest, Trump was keeping his distance, saying, "I was not a fan. I had a falling out with him a long time ago." Trump has always insisted he had nothing to do with Epstein's shady dealings. He claimed he never flew on the infamous private jet or visited the private island. But then, the flight logs came out, and according to those, Trump flew with Epstein 7 times.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
Then there's Virginia Giuffre, an Epstein survivor who tragically took her own life in April 2025. She said she was working at Mar-a-Lago as a locker room attendant when Ghislaine Maxwell recruited her. Also, former model Stacey Williams told The Guardian last year that Epstein took her to Trump's Fifth Avenue penthouse back in 1993, and then encouraged Trump to grope her. She called it a twisted game. Trump denies it ever happened. But what really sent eyebrows flying were the recordings released by journalist Michael Wolff. In tapes from 2017, Epstein described himself as Donald's closest friend for 10 years. He painted a pretty grim picture. Trump yelling at staff, womanizing, friendless except for Ivanka, his secretary, and a bodyguard.
Horrible.
According to Epstein, Trump was almost functionally illiterate and only read the Page 6 gossip column. Ouch.
He's not functionally illiterate. But his reading comprehension is anything complicated.
But the part that's likely to stir up the most outrage? Epstein's claims about Trump's behavior with women. He said Trump once bragged after an encounter in an Atlantic City casino, "The only thing I really like to do is wives of my best friends." Charming.
He does nasty things to his best friends' wives. Anyone who first tries to gain the trust and uses it.
Of course, Trump's campaign team pushed back hard. His former press secretary Caroline Leavitt called the tapes outlandish false smears and accused Wolff of trying to interfere in the election, on behalf of Kamala Harris, no less.